Hi, my name is Haley and I'm at Lions, Tigers, and Bears today to make enrichment for the bobcats. You're going to be needing paint, toilet paper rolls, pieces of newspaper. You can also use tissue paper, paintbrushes, equal parts of water and flour. And you're going to need a bowl to mix in. Now we're going to make the paper mache. You're going to need equal parts of flour and water, but I'm going to be using 1 cup of flour and 1 cup of water. And if your paste is a little bit too chunky, then you can add a little bit of more water to thin it down. And the reason why I'm using flour and water is because you can't use glue because that's not safe for the animals. So you need to cut your newspaper into strips. You can put it on anyway, but I'm just going to paint the flour and water mixture on and then put the newspaper. And now I'm going to go back over it with more so I can seal it into place. And now repeat until you have the whole paper roll done. I'm going to have my mom come over and help me. I'm going to overlap a little bit so that there's no area that's not covered. Another way you can do this is just by dipping in the sheet a little bit. And it's really easy if you use your hands to spread it.
Go.
Now we're gonna keep our Allie come over here and explain why enrichment is so fun for the animals.
So as we can see, they're working on this paper mache here. One of the reasons we do this, one, it's a lot of fun for us. It helps get us involved. But on top of that, when we're looking at these two side by side, which one's more fun to look at? I'm definitely gonna go with the one that's been beautifully painted. We could definitely give this to the animals as is, just plain brown cardboard. But not only is this physically enriching for the animals, it's something they can play with, they can touch, they can sniff, but also we want it to visually look interesting for the animals. So when we can paper mache, it makes it easier for us to go ahead and put design, to put colors on this. These polka dots, these colors aren't something that these animals might see every day. So it's very exciting and new for them when we put something in there that's interesting. So that is why we're gonna go ahead and paper mache these so we can paint, put some pretty fun designs. And this is a great opportunity for you guys to put a little bit of your personality into it as well. There's no right or wrong way to design these. The animals love it no matter what.
And now that this is all paper mache and there's no holes, we're gonna put this out in the sun to dry.
So while our paper mache tubes are drying, I did just want to come back in and go over a few things that are or are not okay to use. So first off, we'll start. We are using paint. Something to make sure when you're using your paint is that it is non-toxic. A lot of times these guys will tear into these. We are using washable tempera paint today, and that's a great choice, so pay attention to that. Another thing to be thinking about, so when we have our tubes, we want to make sure there's nothing on it. Oftentimes with tubes or boxes, we'll see things like staples, metal staples, not going to be good if the animal ingests that. We don't want any kind of plastic tape, also not great for them to ingest. So if there is tape that you need to use, paper tape is going to be your best option. Another thing is decorating. So we're using a lot of paints. We're going to use tissue paper. Something we don't want to be using is something like glitter. Animals ingesting all that glitter, again, not great for them. So these are just the things you kind of have to think about when you're making these. What would be okay for your cat or your dog to ingest? It's going to be super similar to what our animals can or can't have in their habitats. Dog. Me?
Now that this is dry, it's time to have some fun, be creative, and paint.
So welcome to our enrichment shed. Inside here is where we keep a lot of our items that we do put out with our animals. So we're currently making those paper mache tubes, but to make them more dynamic, we oftentimes use scents, things that are smelly, for our animals to make it a little bit more interesting. A lot of the items we use include things like spices, things you have in your own kitchen. You can smell them. Our animals have an even better sense of smell than us, so it's definitely enticing for them. We also use things like perfumes. The smellier, the better. They love them. It makes it a lot more exciting for them to play with these items when they smell a little funky. Good.
Now that I'm done with mine, it's your turn. You and your family can make an enrichment for the animals here at Lions, Tigers, and Bears. I'd love to see what you've created. Make sure to share your pictures online. Contact information is here on the screen if you would like to donate your enrichment to the animals here at Lions, Tigers, and Bears. Now it's time for this one to go to Clarence, one of our bobcats.